as you can tell, we're working on something different today. One of my buddies dropped off his smoker the other day to get a little welding done. Apparently, at some point in time, this hinge right here seized inside of there, and it snapped off the weld from the corner. So I definitely need to clean this up. I need to do some work to the back door. As you can tell, there's a little hole right there. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do here first, because I'm gonna clean it up with the grinder, see what it looks like, see how much metal is still metal. And then I've got a piece on the inside that I need to weld up also. So got a little work ahead of me. Well, that made a mess. All right, kind of glad I did that because I found another hole over here. So that basically means I'm probably going to have to cut this whole piece all the way across and cut it out right here. I'm assuming it's welded right here in each corner. I want to get the hinge fixed first, so I'm going to clean that up just a little bit more and get some grinding done to it. And maybe get it welded tonight, hopefully. This piece looks a lot better. Let's see if it'll go back in, right? Nope. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, did I get it? Oh, I think I might have got it. Time to hit it with old flap disc. For your safety equipment, people, because that little wire wheel that was on there when I was cleaning that hinge kicked back on me, and yeah, I'm glad I had that glove on. I had to tore open my hand, as gnarly as that thing is. All right, now I gotta hit that right there on the corner and hit this bottom half of the hinge, and maybe I can get it welded. I've been messing around with this thing here for a little bit, and yeah, that looks like a pretty good gap to jump. Well, if you press in on it like this with this contraption I've got set up, leverage is always your key. Gap closes up a lot, which I think it needs to be nice and tight in there, but that's a pretty big one I'm gonna have to fill. But yeah, it looks like I got it working. So I got it tacked in there, and it just needs to be fully welded up. All I'm gonna say is I hate welding with flux cord. I'm gonna hit that with a grinder and probably go with another roll right over top of it. I welded on the inside too. flux core. I hate flux core. I hate flux core. I hate flux core. Oh, did I tell you I hate flux core? So, one of the problems with flux core is all the residues left over, plus all the little BBs. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah. So I laid it in there pretty nice and thick. That was a pretty good gap to fill up. I definitely got it over onto this metal. And I think it's gonna hold, at least for a while. At least longer than the other one. I hope. Maybe. I love melting metal. All right, I'm gonna clean this up with a grinder. Well, I'm not a professional welder, but that don't look too bad, especially after I hit it with a grinder. It's got penetration over here. It's got penetration into the weld that he had, which had good. He had good penetration here, but not over here. You can see that most of his weld was over on the hinge. So what I did is I overlapped this weld onto his old weld. And I think that ought to turn out pretty good and stay a good while. So I've already sprayed it on the back, but this is rust reformer that you get at Harbor Freight. I love this stuff. It does great. So I'm gonna spray down this side. As you can see, I kind of hit this with a wire wheel a little while ago. I'm gonna spray down this side and let it set. Now, tomorrow I'm gonna have to go get more of this, and I'm probably gonna pick up some heat resistant paint, maybe some header paint, I'm not sure, and maybe get a coat of paint on this back here till he decides what he wants to do over here. I gave him 3 different ways. 2 of them are expensive, 1 of them's cheap. Hopefully he goes the cheap route. Now, the reason I hope he goes the cheap route is because it's less work for me. There's basically 3 options here to fix this situation. The first and probably most expensive is to cut all the corners and knock this inside piece out and replace the whole piece on the inside. Not as much time, pretty expensive piece of metal. Now, I could cut all the way across the bottom and cut this rusty spot out, add in a strip of metal, but that's a lot of time welding all the way across there, especially to make it look right, because I don't want to look like it's patched up unless it's patched up. Now, the third thing is to patch it up. I could dig through my scrap metal over here and cut out a couple pieces that would overlap this, weld them on, and overlap the hole over here and weld them on. May not look the best, but inexpensive way to do it. I kind of hope he goes that way because it'll be simple. These doors probably don't last a long time on these because of the heat cycles. They get hot, they get cold, then they get moisture, and that causes rust. And as you can tell, this is the burn area of the smoker, and the daylight you see in there, that's another thing I gotta fix. So I think I'm about done for tonight. I'm gonna clean up my tools, and tomorrow I'm gonna go get some supplies. So I went into my local Harbor Freight today, try to get some of that rust converter. They were out, and the employees in there didn't seem like they wanted to help me try to get any. So I went over to my local AutoZone, and I got this stuff. So we're gonna try this out and see if it works any better. A lot more expensive. Let's see what it does, see if it turns it black. Hopefully it does. I haven't wired wheeled this side yet, so let's see what it does on straight rust. Stuff smells almost the same. All right, I'm gonna let that dry overnight. I did get some high heat paint today for barbecues. So when I get done with everything, I'm hoping to put a nice thick coat on this backside. Well, I found a couple pieces of leftover metal that should be enough to go all the way across the back there. I've already sprayed some heat resistant paint on the inside. So the one that's cut weird in the end, I'm going to use that over on the one side because it's kind of where he welded in right here. I'm going to have to either cut a gap out or something. So it kind of fits. So I'm going to put in the big piece first and then cut the other one to fit right there. Did I tell you I hate welding with Flux core? A little bit of grinder and paint, make me the welder I ain't. Hee hee. I don't think it looks too bad. It definitely looks patched, but that's what I was doing. Now I've wire wheeled this whole back door and I think it's ready for a coat of paint. Hopefully this looks a little bit better when I get a coat of paint on it. Sometimes welds look rough before they actually get finished, but definitely solid. No holes in it, not that I can tell. I did wire wheel the inside of the door and I sprayed some of the rust inhibitor on it. Hopefully that keeps it. I wire wheeled all of this, cleaned off the top. Now yesterday I wire wheeled this over here and I put a coat of paint on this side and I put the rust inhibitor on here. And for paint, I'm using this high heat barbecue paint made by RUSTOLEUM. Sprays out flat black. It dries really quick. That paint don't look too bad, does it? All right, last project is I'm gonna have to climb underneath and jack that piece up, and I guess maybe weld some angle iron on the back of it just to give it a little bit of a brace. Well, getting up underneath here was a lot harder than I expected. So what I did is I used a piece of scrap metal, and I've laid on some pretty serious tack welds. And I've welded up here on the back. Let me get to it. This right here, up here, that's got a pretty serious weld on it, and the other side does too. So that ought to keep the floor from falling out of it, at least for now. All right. Time to clean the scale off the other side. Well, I know it's gotten dark and it's going to be kind of hard to see, but I think I'm calling this one done. I used all the paint that I had. I even used a can of black paint that I had. It was normal paint on the underneath. I sprayed everything down with that rust converter, and I used the last little bit of black paint to kind of freshen everything up over here. When everything dries, it ought to look pretty good. So this was an interesting project. It was a lot more work than what I expected it to be. If you enjoyed this video, please check out some of my other videos, and like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car, wake up in a bar.